Hello everyone, my name is Bryan Chen, and today I will be discussing about the need for religious coping mechanisms. Stressful circumstances are the primary reason that causes poor mental and physical health. According to the World Health Organization, nearly 1 billion people around the world have suffered from mental disorders that are produced by stressful circumstances. That's around 1/7 of the world's population. This number is continuously growing each and every year. It seems that there is lack of a accessible, consistent, and effective way that reduces people's stress. In the stimulus piece that was presented by Gutale Rahil, an associate professor of behavioral sciences, the Haitians have gone through a very catastrophic and natural disaster, and this has changed their way of living to living in stress and fear. Scientists have figured out that this is a huge problem in the world, and they have determined that they need to go in detail and figure out a solution to this problem. In this figure, around the world, you can see that there's areas of red regions that go for 20%, and this shows that there's various regions that have high stressful disorders that are happening. This leads me to my question today, which is, to what extent does religious coping mechanisms be the most effective cure for the distressed people? And my answer to that is that religious coping mechanisms are very consistent, and they are very effective to being a treatment option. While analyzing what research scientists say about the effectiveness of religious coping mechanisms and what individuals have to say about the accessibility of religious coping strategies, the reliability, and you can see that there's strategies that can be reliable. Research scientists have found that religious coping mechanisms can be very uncomplicated, and they can be very effective because of the various strategies that are presented. Scientists have figured out that there is a very effective and yet useful method called RCOPE. This is a method that figures out what each individual has stressed about and figures out how to counteract it. RCOPE is a consistent and it works with very strong faith and fundamentals. Armandi, who works in social works and is a department manager, and his colleagues at the University of Guelph responds that our COPE methods are effective and are relevant in Malaysia. Our COPE methods have seen that they are very effective because there are various religions that are incorporated into their culture in Malaysia, and is effective that it suppresses and counteracts mental illnesses. Individuals believe that accessibility is crucial to them because each person goes through different circumstances, and praying is the method that comes to mind because anyone can do this anywhere at any time. According to Robin Labarra, who has a PhD in education and is a doctor in social work, and her partner, June Hatzel, states that Christian educators have reported to have headaches, depression, and high blood pressure while in a classroom that's stressful. Educators have treated their minds and by just taking a tiny bit out of the day and to dedicate that to praying, and have seen positive results as a result. People have believed that praying is a great coping mechanism as it is accessible and allows people to take time out of their day to focus on themselves, and this reduces their negative feelings. The reliability of this is that many people on both sides have discovered that while they are both helpful, it can also be a limitation to them because of the various lack of facts that go into this. But they do prefer religious coping mechanisms because people can go at their own pacing and can go and cure themselves at their own pace. Sadly, religious coping mechanisms have one large limitation that lacks. Sadly, religious coping mechanisms have one very large limitation, which is that it lacks science behind these methods. Because our cope and praying focus primarily on faith, it focuses primarily on opinions rather than scientific facts. In conclusion, religious coping mechanisms is the best treatment option for those because it has endless applications to people's problems. However, this is still a large topic and it cannot be scientifically proven, but it can help people in distress. And these are my works cited page.
Brian, what evidence did you gather that you didn't include, and why did you choose not to?
So, in a study that I found, there was this Somalian population in the early 90s that have been displaced because of military separations, and displacement has happened to them. So they have discovered that these young people have suffered from depression from a young age, and they have not a very bright future. However, I didn't include this because it's not really relevant to my topic entirely because one, time frame, as well as it talks more about their underachievements. Rather, I talk about how people are able to recover from distress.
Brian, how did you use the conclusions and questions of others to advance your own research?
In various articles that I've read, they have various configurations, but they have similar findings that there were various methods, but the methods were the same, and they have found that these methods are the most appropriate because there isn't much research that have gone into this. And I've used this into my limitations, as I said before, how there isn't many scientific facts to back it up, but there is some methods that are still usable, such as RCOPE and as well as praying.